Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration, and you're listening to Highly Doubted. I'm your host, K.Q Dawg. And just so you know, what you just heard was 2 Cents. That's on all platforms. Make sure you go check that out. Also, I have a mixtape called Solo Savage. Make sure to check that on SoundCloud. Trying to get it on all platforms, but like you know how I always say, got to clear some things. So, what I have today is a very special guest. It's a very special person. J.Bow. She is also a member of the WDRB family. She has her own show. She has a lot of things going on for herself. So I'm going to let her talk about it. And, yeah. What you got going on, J.Bow?
For starters, Kess. We're going to talk about how we throwing out governments, but we going to let that slide. We're going to talk about that after.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know how I do, business, creativity, always working on reasonable rides.
Reasonable rides.
T-shirt.
Oh yeah. We're gonna talk about that. Go ahead.
I'm always on my poetry game, trying to write a little bit every day. Working on music a little bit. You already know.
Of course. But like I said, I know I want the people who've never seen your face before, who've never seen the logo on your shirt, who's never known anything about J.Bow. So first and foremost, where are you from? What do you do? I mean, in terms of creativity, as well as business, this is everything. So, I know you mentioned it before, but go more in detail. Where are you from? What influences made you get to the point that you're at? And what is a highly doubted story that you could tell us about anything in your life that you had to overcome?
Well, for starters, I'm from the 9 down, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Yes, I'm a military brat. I was raised in the Bull City, Durham, so anybody from there, we the real soldiers. I'm out here in Greensboro now. Aggie pride.
Aggie pride. I'm Aggie. Shout out to HBCU.
And shoot, I gotta say that a highly doubted story about me is really myself. Just me not being able to. Me listening to everybody else and people, trying to push you in the path of get a job, come to college. I started as an engineer, you gonna get a lot of money working for somebody else. And I'm just I always wanted to be an architect, but it was just I like architecture, but I always saw myself having my own firm. Getting into the major, I realized that don't come until I'm 40. 45, 50. You gotta work your way up there.
Right.
I want to start out as my own boss, and I mean, that's unrealistic in that industry. And it's just I lost the passion for it. I thought going to my dream school, I would find it again, and it's just I didn't. And it was just all right, I was gonna switch to business. I always knew that I had a natural niche for it. I was always good at getting people to buy and sell stuff. Shout out to Black Space Poetry. When I was in my junior year, I started up there, and I sold about $3,000 worth of T-shirts for them for our team to go to Brave New Voices in California.
Oh.
So it was that.
We're in California.
The Bay.
All right. Shout out to the Bay. Shout out to the Bay. All right.
Yeah. So it was and then, I got recognized for that. Shout out to Pierce Freeline. He's the founder of Black Space Poetry. He was running for mayor of Durham. He put me on his campaign as his merchandise specialist. So, that's when I realized, I'm really doing something with, this business stuff. So I was I was already my junior year, senior year thinking about, switching to business. But I just tried architecture, and I was just it's not for me. Switched to business at A&T. And I just been excelling ever since. Even when I was in architecture, that's when I started up Reasonable Rides. Back then, everybody knew me as the hood Uber, Rides for the Low. That's still one of my hashtags hood now, Uber, Rides for the Low.
Rides for the Low. I like that.
So it was everybody was they would get in my car, they would be dang, I feel so safe, I feel so comfortable, this is cool, it's affordable, people was loving it. And it was just I kept going, kept pushing it, at first it was just something for me, I was a freshman in college, I needed some bread, you feel me? And I knew what my family was going through. I ain't wanna ask them for too much, you feel me?
Right.
Because I didn't want them to have to stress. I didn't want them to have to feel like they had to worry about me because I'm always asking for bread. So I was it's easy for me to make bread. Let me just make my own.
Okay.
That's how I started. Then it just kept growing. I realized how much people need those affordable rides for the low. You feel me? So it was
So, okay, what So in terms of a business mind, because you are a creative mind, and this is also the business side of your creativity. So what made you choose that the car transportation that arena? In terms of being an entrepreneur. So reasonable rides. What was the mission behind that to even get that lifted off?
Starting it really just kind of happened. Like, it was like I was one of the few freshmen had my car, and like all the upperclassmen that was doing rides, they was doing $5 minimum. And it was like they was like doing $5 and $10 rides. That was still kind of pricey. And it was like you ain't even no real business if you charging the prices. You feel me? So it's just like I can do what they doing, undercut them and do it better. So like that's just where that came from. It really just happened. Like and it just kept happening. Things just kept on happening until reasonable rides happen.
So reasonable rides is a legit business. You have like the paperwork and everything like that.
I got my articles of organization. I'm registered in the state of North Carolina to do business.
How old are you?
I'm only 20. I just turned 20 on January 2nd.
That's beautiful. Cap. Yeah, that is so beautiful. I mean, 20 years old. You knew from being a freshman that you wanted to be an entrepreneur. You knew that
yes, sir.
the department that you were in wasn't resonating. You lost the passion, but you gained it through entrepreneurship. You made your own business, and now you're doing. And is this primarily in Greensboro? Mostly primarily in Greensboro, or?
Yeah, right now we're only in Greensboro, but my big goal by at least the time I'm 25 is to have my app fully developed so I can reach every HBCU, every college campus, every even not even a university, but like Durham Tech, like the technical colleges, like everybody in that system. Even like I'm gonna have eventually a separate system to where right now it's only for college students, but I know that everybody think that professors and the faculty they got the big bank, but that's not always the case. So I want to make a system for them too.
All right, reasonable rides. That's the business side of J.Bow. I like that. We didn't even get to the creative poetry because you are poetry. Oh no, we gonna do that. We gonna do that. But today we're discussing Highly Doubted with J.Bow. When we come right back, we will continue the discussion. You're listening to Highly Doubted, and I'm your host, K.Q Dawg. And if you're tuned in, WDRB, the voice of the community, the only station giving you the W information and inspiration. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and those streaming live through free TuneIn Radio and the iHeartRadio app. You're listening to Highly Doubted, and I'm your host, K.Q Dawg. And if you're just tuning in, we're discussing Highly Doubted with J.Bow. So,
what's up?
So, I mean, man, we just talked about a great business, segment of how you are an entrepreneur at such a young age, and you're trying to, elevate and expand through your experiences and, your passions. And I'm very moved. Like, I know you, but I'm still moved. Like, that's a dope story.
Thank you.
That's a really dope story, and I'm so glad you could share that. But aside from the business side, you are a poet, you are a creator, and I know you have a highly doubted story that you would happily share with us about your poetry. Like what type of poet, or how did you really get into poetry? You mentioned it earlier with the organization, but tell me more about yourself and how did you really come into yourself confidence wise into your poetry?
Well, I've always been very lyrical. So when I was younger, I would make little remixes of songs and stuff. You feel me? But I didn't really feel like I had a rapper voice. I like to sing, but I know I can't. So it was just what's the next best thing? I would just write down little things here and there in my little notebooks, and then it was like, oh, poetry. What's that? Oh, okay, I want to learn more about this. Okay, I like this. Okay, when I was in 8th grade, we had an assignment where we had to do a few different types of poetry, like haikus and ballads and all that, and I got a flat 100.
Flat 100.
And I was like, oh. I was like, I must be good, you feel me? So that was my first little, step into it. Then the first real poem that I just wrote on my own, it was to get a girl.
Oh Lord.
Well, it wasn't to get her. It was kind of like I had her, but it was trying to bag her. And it was
trying to impress her. Okay.
Yeah, and then I was insecure about it, so I sent it to one of my friends first. Sent it to two of my friends, actually. Two of my friends who, they was liking each other. One of them was my best friend, another one was just one of my band friends. He was a dude.
Okay.
Sent it to him first. Then I sent it to my best friend. And she was like, yeah, I like it, but it ain't yours. What?
Excuse? What? She didn't think it was yours? She didn't think you wrote it?
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, best friend, what you talking about? She was like, such and such just sent me this and da 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 da. I'm like, all right, text such and such. Bro, you got something you want to tell me? Da da da. So he basically was like, yeah, it was just so good, you know.
Oh,
like,
he used your phone.
Yeah, like he was like, it expressed the way that he felt about her and everything. Like it was to the T.
Wow.
Like he was like, I wasn't trying to copy it or nothing. I was like, well, if that's the case, you should have gave me my credit. You feel me? So then that was the second step where I was like, all right. Wow. I was mad at him for a minute, but I was like, you know, that says something.
That does say something.
That says something.
That does.
So it was
That's dope. That's dope.
So like now I know that not only is my content good, but it's relatable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, of course, you know, the girl, you know, she loved it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. You got people taking your lyrics, man. But I mean, if it worked, if you knew if it worked for that, then it was gonna work for what you were intended it for it to be. So yeah, that was good.
Then my third time. See, I'm all about numbers, so you know, if I hit 4 and 7, those are my milestones. My third time realizing, you know, I was doing something. I wrote a Black privilege poem. I watched Crystal Valentine's Black privilege poem on Button Poetry. I love watching that stuff, man. That's like good inspiration for my writing. And just her message, you know, made me want to write my own. Wrote mine, and later on, an event called Impact over at Duke down in Durham had came up. And all my friends was doing poetry, so I was like, man, I got poems too. I'm going to do a poem too. I was going to do a little love poem. But then I got there, and it was like everybody was doing Black Power poems. I'm like, well, I got one. I might as well. We walk into the room. It's nothing but white people. And I'm like, and I went up first.
Wow.
So I'm like, this is my first time performing poetry. And I did it in front of a room full of white people about black privilege. And if you know what black privilege is, it ain't no privilege.
Of course, you know.
And when I got done, it was 3 seconds of silence and nothing but applause. And I'm like, wow.
That's beautiful.
They hear me. They hear me. You feel me? So I'm like, I need to keep doing this.
Right.
I need to keep going.
That's dope. I mean, if you can change a crowd, like, those are really interesting stories, dynamics, man. Like, you had the intention of writing a love poem to the girl you wanted, ended up your friends reading it, he used it, and then you went to a black privilege poetry powwow with an all majority white crowd, and you moved them. I mean, but if you can do that, you can do that. If you can do that there, you can do that anywhere.
Yeah.
So I believe that was. Yeah, if I was in your shoes, I would have definitely felt like, yeah, I think I got this. You know, that's dope. That is dope. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then lastly, I knew I was something when, you know, my mama, bro. Shout out to my mama.
Shout out to all the mamas.
My mama, man, we have our ups and downs, but I love my mom to death. My mom is a sugar honey iced tea.
Sugar honey iced tea.
And a bag of her favorite chips on top. All right, my mom is like that. And she came to pick me up one day before I got my car last year. We was on the way back to Durham, and I was mumble rapping in the back, you know, going over my stuff. And she was like, what you got back there? Let me hear you. You know, connected my phone, played the instrumental. I'm spitting bars to my mama. And she's like, oh, you can rap. She was like, that was really good. And my mom, like, you know, my mom, she don't really, you know, too often like say anything like towards like me actually doing something with like poetry and artistry, because you know most parents just don't feel like that's anywhere where you can make money. Right. So I guess that's where I could say that I'm highly doubted is like a lot of people don't feel like you can make it like that, or they feel like, you know, everybody trying to do it, only few get it. Right. Well, it's like the few that get it because they keep trying. Right. So it's like when my mama told me I was good. Very true. That's when like, you know, we was at Why Not Wednesdays all the time. You know, that was just fun, and you know I was just doing it for fun. But when my mama told me that I was good, it was like,
that's
my mama think I'm good?
Yes, no, I feel that. That's a different feeling. That's a different feeling with yo mama.
Yeah, man. Like I was like, I gotta keep doing it. I gotta go further. So like,
oh yeah, no, that's a different feeling. My mama know. Like I tell my mom all the time, you know, I have this song, and she'll be like, okay, all right. And then I feel like, you know, she's just saying that to say that. But then when I perform, when she hears the song, she's like, oh my God, like, you know, she always tells me, even if you were not my son and I heard this, I would still play it. And when she said that the first time, I just,
I'm gonna like your song.
Huh? Really? Oh my God.
Drop top on a Wednesday. on a Wednesday. Yeah, I played that for her. I played that for her. And I played Friction by Gab, and she was like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Gabrielle. Yes, we had her last week, 2 weeks ago, and she was talking about her platform and everything like that. Yeah, I mean, thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm a fan of you also because, you know, I have used Reasonable Rides the times I'm in Greensboro when we have our homecoming. G-Hope at Geek Pride.
Geek Pride.
But yeah, no, J.Bow is, I can speak in the test that J.Bow is definitely on the scene with her Reasonable Rides business because, you know, when there are Ubers and Lyfts going around and it's cluttered, people who's been there know how it gets during that time. So J.Bow really is clutch when it comes to those rides, so I can attest to that.
Man, it's not even just me. I got 16 drivers, and I just want to give y'all a quick shout out, man. I love y'all to death. Y'all have done a lot to help support my dream and my goal, and like a lot of y'all are my friends, but some of y'all didn't even know me before I stepped to y'all. Like, hey, come drive for me, and like I appreciate all of y'all. Like for real, I would not be able to do this by myself.
That's love.
As much as I've grown.
That's love. Real. After this break, we'll continue our discussion with Holly Dowdy with J.Bow. You're tuned in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. Don't go anywhere because we'll be right there. In the whole segment, you basically talked about the business and you basically talked about the poetry. So, you know, being a poet and being a business person, you have contacts. So please tell the people how they can get in contact with you, social media, SoundCloud, whatever, everything.
All right, so for my business, Reasonable Rides, you know, if you're a student in Greensboro, must have your college ID. You can contact my business line at 336. Hold up. I'm going to give you a second to pull out your phone. All right, 336-777-6901. All right, that's the business line number. You can hit us up on Twitter, Reasonable Rides. And my personal page, you can hit me up on Instagram, J. Hold up, you got the app? All right, cool. J. Period. B-O-W. Bow. The poet. Yeah, that's me.
What else? That's it?
Yeah. That's
okay.
It.
Well, I want to change it up a little bit differently. I want to end this segment. I want to end this show off with you a little spoken word. Can you give us a little something?
I mean, you
know, a little poem, J.Bow. You know what I'm saying? Give us a little creativity.
I'm going to read y'all a piece I call Barbecue.
Barbecue. Sounds good right now.
Black beautiful queen. Why do they try to strip you of your beauty? Why do they attempt to extract the essence of your greatness? For your melanin pops and shines brighter than the brightest star in the sky. Your elegance grows over every room like the sun does on the weary night. Don't you know that your naps and coils have historical roots that run deeper than the ocean itself? Like such, you are a full body, unable to be appreciated in its entirety. You are more than a physical attraction. The true nature of your pulchritude resides inside, humble as can be, but too humble that it becomes malleable, molding itself by the accusations of their assumptions, but you are more than meets the eye. You are more than they will ever care to see. For your skin does not fit into their perfect image, it is imaginary. How blind one must be to the point where he cannot see your glory. Black woman, you just need a stage to shine on like the star that you are. But Tupac said it best. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, the darker the skin, the deeper the roots that I want to dig through until I can find the start to all of your insecurities. Pull the weeds of self-neglect, hate, misery, depression, and inadequacy. I want to dig and dig and dig and dig until I can dig past all the disdain and the things that make you feel ashamed of who you are. I want to dig far enough past to plant new roots of self-autonomy, self-confidence, self-love, so you can grow into the beautiful blossom that I know you are. So why do you allow them to disdain and demean you? You are so wonderful. So why are you so ashamed? Don't you see? Can you not see what I see? Every day I wish upon a star because I have a dream that one day little white boys and little white girls and their parents will not only hold hands with, but look at my people as their equals, just as beautiful and nothing less. Because you are much more than they allow you to think. So don't be suppressed by the media's preference. You will never have to be anything other than beautiful in my eyes. Because excuse me. Because realize, realize, when looking at prejudice, equality, and hate. But quite frankly, black women, I see you as the most prized possession curated by the Creator himself. But my opinion means nothing if you can't find love within yourself. So I ask you, why do you feel so ashamed? Why do you not know your worth? Learn yourself, who you are and where you come from. And understand that regardless of any other entity, you are black, you are beautiful, you are bold, and you are the most beautiful creature that you will ever meet. Barbecue.
Join us next week as we continue our discussion on Highly Doubted. I want to thank my guest again, J.Bow. You are amazing.
Thank you.
For joining us. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Come and tune in again every Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please remember to contact with me by going to wdrbmedia.com. Click on the radio shows tab and go to Highly Doubted. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show or want free advertising, call me at 704-771-3971 or email me at can'tquit@icloud.com. That's KANTQUIT@icloud.com. You've been listening to Highly Doubted, and I'm your host, K.Q Dawg, on WDRB Media, the voice of the community for double the information and inspiration. Until next week, continue to be blessed. Just wanna give you my 2 cents. I just wanna give you my 2 cents. Excuse me.